again, I'm your host, Gika. Thank you so much for attending today's festivities. Now we would like to acknowledge our VIPs here with us today. First, we have Attorney Joseph Bartolata, Bicol University Vice President for Administration and Finance. And we also have with us, to share with us a few words, the Associate Dean of Bicol University College of Engineering, Engineer Rolando Antosillo, is he here with us today? Please give a round of applause, everyone. I'm PJ, Engineer Rosino. If you're here, is he at the back? Hi, sir.
To the organizers, co-organizers, sponsors, participants, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to everyone. And to participants who are not used to see our place, welcome to Bicol University and the beautiful city of Legazpi. We are hoping that not only the activities of this occasion will give us the thrill for the next few days, but likewise the majestic beauty of our very own Mayoni volcano. I am representing here today the Dean of our college, the Bicol University College of Engineering. She is right now with the president of the university and other university officials for an academic visit at Belgium in Europe. I would like to read the message prepared by our very own Dean, Engineer Amelia B. Gonzalez. Welcome to Bicol University College of Engineering. As Dean, I am honored to be working with Bicol University's top-notch and innovative engineering professors and students that help bridge the way for the college to help organize this year's State of the Map Asia 2022 and Pista ng Mapa Conference. It is a great privilege to host this prestigious mapping event where mapping professionals, professors, students, volunteers, and presenters from all over the world join to celebrate the love for open mapping, open data, and open source. Holding steadfast to our core values of character, leadership, scholarship, and service. Bicol University College of Engineering is committed to advancing academic excellence by offering professional and technical training and introducing advanced, relevant new programs to the student body, all of which I believe perfectly align with the goals of the State of the Map Asia and Pista ng Mapa Conference. We are blessed and beyond grateful for the continuous trust and support that local school agencies and a diverse range of constituents across and outside the country continue to provide. This collaboration with the State of the Asia and Pislanang MAPA committee enable us to give the students and our community dynamic, responsive, and engaging experiences while also addressing the needs of the community. The College of Engineering of the Bicol University, particularly the faculty members, especially the engineering department, is committed to opening several opportunities for unrestricted education and reinvigorating the learning experiences of the students through practical and hands-on activities. I would also want to thank the student leaders of the GE department, the Genetic Engineers of the Philippines Incorporated, Bicol University Student Chapter, for working hand in hand with the organizers in the name of student benevolence and service niya vow. Through this biggest open mapping event, Bicol University College of Engineering hope to help the participants realize their goals and utilize what they learned from this event to make a difference in this rapidly changing and increasingly globalized society. We're looking forward to more collaborations with the Open Street Mapping community and will continue to support its vision, mission, and goal for the years to come. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat. Thank you.
Once again, we would like to thank our opening speakers for their welcoming remarks for all of us. I hope you all felt a very warm welcome here at Bicol University for Pista ng Mapa 2022 and State of the Map Asia 2022. Now, you might be famished. We did start the program a little late. So now, I would like to announce that we are going to take a short break and we will be right back. So in the meantime, please feel free to go around and then check out the booths of our sponsors and partners that are located here in the venue. And feel free to ask our ushers for any questions that you might have, any directions or guidance in case you want to go somewhere. We will be back after 25 minutes. Thank you.
Ay, yung ano lang, ulo. Sino meron? Wala naman ang iba. I-flat mo lang.
We hope you're enjoying your break. We would just like to encourage you to talk about today's program and use the hashtags #PNM2022 and #SOTM2022. We are going to also go over some of our sponsors, partners, and co-presenters who we are very thankful for in order to ensure today's event is a success. So for our sponsors, we have two co-presenters, the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific and Meta. We also have our major sponsors, MapDex, GeoLadies, Mental Health OS, BNHR, and OpenStreetMap Philippines. We also have our minor sponsors, Mapbox, SOAR, Thinking Machines, and Converge, our internet sponsor. We also have our local organizing team, the Bicol University College of Engineering, Geodetic Engineers of the Philippines Incorporated, Bicol University Student Chapter. Our media partners are Geographic Society of UP, Junior Philippine Geographical Society of the Philippines, Academic Consortium of Computer Science Students, Counter Mapping PH Network, PUP College of Computer and Information Sciences Student Council, Rotaract Club of Metro Zamboanga, Youth Advocates of the Philippines, Uliran Collective, UP Department of Geography, and Youth Matters. Our local offices partners are the Department of Tourism Region 5, Mayor Carmen Geraldine Rosal from City of Legazpi, Governor Noel E. Rosal from the Provincial Government of Albay, Provincial Tourism, Culture, and the Arts Office of Albay, Starbucks Events and Exhibits, and Graciana's Food Hub. Thank you!
tingin mo kinawawala ng pag-asa. Di ka nag-iisa sa hamon ng problema. Kahit na magkakapareho may pagkakaiba, ngunit ang pinagkaiba sa di na pagkakaisa. Sulong lang, sabay-sabay sa bundok na matarik. Parang sugat na lika na maapakan ng tinig. Diretso lang, kahit gano'ng kalupit, hindi ikot ang segundo sa relo na pabalik. Tumingin ka sa liwanag na sa'yo'y papalapit. Makinig ka sa katotohanan na aming sinasabit. Madadapa ka minsan, kakayanin mo pa rin dahil ang pusong biyuin nyo sa data mo sa limin.
Nangangarap, biyuhin nyo, nagsisikap, sama-sama sa pangarap, kapit bisig, tayong mga kakaibang gawin sa ating hati-hati, subalit sa muling nagwawagi. Marahil ay iba't iba ang kulay kilos sa salita, subalit sa muling nananahimik ang pusong biyuhin nyo, pusong biyuhin nyo, pusong biyuhin nyo, pusong biyuhin nyo. Ang pusong biyuhin niya. Tatak biyuhin niyo. Wow, oh, wow, 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 oh. Wow, oh, wow, 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 oh. Wow, oh, wow, wow, wow. Mga pangarap kayang apatin, pag-asa ng ambisyon natin. Di kukuha tulong-tulong. Saan man magpuntay, isa ang ulong. Ako, ikaw, tayo, kahit sino pa. Pantay-pantay ang tingin sa isa't isa. Isang pangarap, isang hangarin. Tayo ay kakbiyuhin nyo.
na. Kumbaga, iba ka sa kanila kung di ka nililo patuloy niyan kanta.
Mga talento natin na iba-iba, sa pamumuno tayo'y nagiging isa.
Sa serbisyo, hindi nagsusukuan. Kahit di na kaya,
Ay kakayanin pa. Tumayo, tak, sumayaw tayo, biruan nyo, sama-sama tayo. Tunay na naganda ang taglay ng ating mga puso, walang susuko. Kahit anong problema, wala lang yan, basta tinaas ang ipila. Pasok na yan at laging isipin na tayo'y tatak ngayon. Tak, sumayaw tayo, biruan nyo, sama-sama tayo. Tunay na naganda ang taglay ng ating mga puso, walang susuko. Kahit anong problema, wala lang yan, basta tinaas ang ipila. Pasok na yan at laging isipin na tayo'y tatak biruan nyo. Oh, oh, tatak biruan nyo. Oh, 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 laging isipin na tayo'y tatak biruan nyo.
Everyone to please take your seats and we are going to resume the program in a little bit. So for today, we are going to have a few words from one of our open centers and sponsors for this year's event. So we have the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific. We'd like to welcome on stage Mr. Harry Wood to say a few words.
Hello! Magandang umaga po. Good morning everyone. Okay, before I start, I would like to say thank you for the organizer from the Bicol University and also from the OpenStreetMap Philippine community and all the volunteers because without them, this Pisa ng Mapa and Set of the Map 2022 won't be really possible. So once again, give big applause for them. I'm so excited to meet all of you because, like the organizers say, this is the first time we meet again in person. After we've been vaccinated maybe one time or two times or even 4 times. So here we are. And maybe in this session I'm going to share a little bit about our organization called Open Mapping Hub. I say little bit because the further information you can find in our booth back there. So yeah, just a bit for my session. So can we start? Okay. Yeah, this is sponsorship talk because my organization is a sponsor, so I have to give a talk. So that's why I'm here. And yeah, this is a beautiful drone image. And next. So, who are we? Like, who is Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific? Why, like all of the sudden, you guys sponsor this kind of event? Who are you? So, we are, basically, I can say, is a regional representative for Humanitarian OpenStreetMap Team, which is an international NGO that using open mapping to support the humanitarian actions. So why Open Mapping Hub established around last year in January because we want to be more closer to all of you, to the community, to the local government, so we can give our support, our best to answer and support all of your challenge regarding the open mapping activities. So we have our vision in the next couple of years to create a sustainable and vibrant OSM ecosystem, not only in the Asia, but also in the Pacific region. So that's why we're here. Next, please. So, talking about our organization, we not only working, like I said, in humanitarian action, there are a couple of themes that we're working on. One of them is disaster and climate, but the other sectors such as health and well-being, also gender equality, sustainable city, and also migration. And we, in the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific, we working in the 25 countries, including the Philippines. So yes, we're here to support your local community and local system, but for all those people who also living in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Cambodia, and other countries, we here to support you. Next. Okay, why also the critical question is why we established, why COT created the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific? Because this is something that we still have, the problem, because in Asia Pacific, we have a lot of countries who still facing a lot of multidimensional poverty and also located in a very high risk of disaster. And to support them, using open mapping, that's why we established to working not only with the mappers, but also with the map user and all the government to take more actions and policy to support these local people to answer a couple of challenges that they have. So if you take a look at the diagram, so we are ready or really happy to collaborate not only with the OSM community, but also with the academia. We also working with the private sector, government, and also other humanitarian organizations to, accomplish our vision that I say to create a sustainable and vibrant OSM ecosystem. Next, please. So this is our team. So we just like a small team, consisted 12 amazing individuals, including myself. So, I'm sorry, I have to include me because I'm part of the team. But yeah, we have like Bea, we have Dana, Melai, Nama, Risham, Chan, Dinar. So, maybe my friend in Open Mapping Hub, can you stand up and show yourself? Yeah, some of them is on the booth, they're pretty busy to, talking to the people, so they cannot pay attention to me, but that's fine. So, yeah. This is our team, and we have a very specific function, which is you can really contact. For example, if you want to talk more about community, you can directly contact our community manager, Nico Tamura, and also if you're related to the disaster, you can come to me, and we can have a discussion. Next. Okay, so like I said, Hub established around January 2021. So it's been almost 2 years, and during that time, we've been actively involved in the 16 of 25 countries, meaning it's around, I don't know, my math maybe not right. So around 70%, right, 70-75% in our priority countries. And whenever we go to our priority countries and working there, we always bring our aspiration. So we have like a couple of aspirations here. So we also want to make government, humanitarian, and even private sector to use OSM data. But they also need to trust OpenStreetMap data in their planning. And we also want to make OSM as one of the preferred data choices whenever they want to make a map or use the data for their policy or planning. And also, citizen is a general also increasingly contribute in the OSM. Maybe in the context of mapping, or even like use the data itself. And last but not least, we really want to make sure all the underrepresented communities is also being involved and included in our movement. So this is some of our project. You can take a look at, we have like a booster grant. So booster grant is kind of project that we give to the local community in every country that we prioritize. We also have a map and chat hour. It's like a regular event, like a monthly event that we meet all of the mappers from Asia Pacific and we're talking anything about maps. And we hope like our program called Series and Sea Inspires, Women Empowerment Program, where we look for champions women. And some of them is already, sit among us. So yeah, this is a good opportunity to learn from them. And we have a disaster service, and we have OSM Academy from our trainer, and we have a university engagement. We also have for you who really love to coding or something related to the technical, we have our program called OSM Hackfest. So we have a program that's still ongoing. We're looking for the student club sponsorship, which is now open for the batch 2. So if you're interested to involve in the student club sponsorship, you can ask or discuss with Chan over there. Chan, raise your hand. So for all of you, student club sponsorship, please reach out to Chan. And also, we have an ongoing program for the OSM Regional Hackfest, which is we looking for the potential partner in Asia Pacific. For those of you who interested discussing about potential becoming our partner to conduct the Hackfest, please, reach out to Nirab, our tech specialist there. So yeah, this our program that we've been running so far. And next please. Okay, this is just like a very statistical map from our presence since June 2020. And because some of the projects that I just mentioned, we have successfully completed an increasing couple of data in Asia Pacific. So yeah, it's a really a good progress, I can say. But this is not the end, because we still continue to improve and we want to make better, of course with your collaboration with us. Next. This is a couple of examples. For example, our working in a disaster response. For example, we're also supporting the Pakistan Club. So we asking our mappers around the globe to map the affected area, and this is the impact. Next. And we're not talking only about mapping statistics, which is also very obvious, but we also monitoring or trying to measure the effect on the people. So at the moment, hopefully at the moment we try to make it more diverse. So from those people that we involve in our project, 52% is men and 46% is a man. So if you really want to perfectly balance, so we need to make more 4% involvement of the woman. It can be achieved with your interest, of course. And next, we also, like I said, we also interested in collaborating with international NGO, both national or even regional actors. So we have been collaborating in a couple of countries with the Aga Khan, with the Himalayan University Consortium, with the League of Local Planning Development Coordinator of the Philippines, LLPDCT. So yeah, so we working with the mix with the local government and national government and all the international NGO. Next. And we also still continue a couple of our activity in the booster grant, and we have at the moment we already launched 4 booster grant in 4 countries, which is in Indonesia, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Philippines. And we also have 10 Series and Sea Inspire grantees, and already at the moment we have 10 universities from student club sponsorship. And it's not the end, we will have more, and we will increase this kind of number in the next couple of months and years. Next. Yeah, so far 24 community already will or already receive the funding. And yeah, this is some of the documentation for the program itself. Next. And last but not least, we also have like the technical support. So we developed some of the tools to also, trying to support you to how to determine your priority area, which is we are going to have a session later after lunch. So if you're interested to learn about our tool regarding the using the QGIS modeler, please come to our session. And the second one, we also try to improve the quality of the data in OSM. That's why at the moment we created a methodology and documentation for all of you on how to really improve your OSM data quality. Because with the good quality, like I said, people will choose OSM and use OSM for their work. So yeah, please join us or talk with us if you're interested also in this kind of thing. Next? Oh, there is no next. So I think that's all from my presentation. So after this, I need to confirm, but I think after this, we will have a lot of inspiring sessions, which is parallel, unfortunately. So you can pick which one you really want to see. And in next few days, you will learn a lot. And maybe you will get, building more partnerships and also know more people. And yeah, last but not least, I want to say enjoy this event and be happy. So, salamat po and see you.
Hello. Alright, once again, thank you so much to our major sponsor and our co-presenter for this event, the Open Mapping Hub Asia Pacific. Now, my dear friends, I would like to announce to all of you that we are going to have simultaneous presentations, just like what Harry said. So, right now, we'd like to inform you that academic track presentations in our program will be held in the auditorium. And then general track Team 1 disaster topics will be held here. So, in addition to the academic track presentations,
sinasabi ko. Tibayan ang loob sa bawat pagtawa ay tumayo. Butin mo ang pangarap na buong buo. Kung sa tingin mo kinawawala ng pag-asa, di ka nag-iisa sa hamon at problema. Kahit na magkakapareho may pagkakaiba, ngunit ang pinagkaiba sa di na pagkakaisa. Sulong lang, sabay-sabay sa bundok na matarik. Parang sugat na lika na maapakan ng tinig. Diretso lang, kahit gano'ng kalupit, hindi ikot ang segundo sa relo na pabalik. Tumingin ka sa liwanag na sa'yo'y papalapit. Makinig ka sa katotohanan na aming sinasambit. Madadapa ka minsan, kakayanin mo pa rin dahil ang pusong biyuin nyo sa data mo sa bibig.
Sumugin ang ngiti ang bawat pagsubok. Pakinggan mabuti ang bawat pagtibok.
Ang pusong nangangarap, biyuhin nyo, nagsisikap, sama-sama sa pangarap, nabipising, tayong mga
Kakaibang luwis sa ating hati-hati. Subalit sa huling nagwawagi pa rin. Marahil ay iba't iba ang kulay kilos at salita. Subalit sa huling nananaig ang pusong biyuin nyo. Pusong biyuin nyo. Pusong biyuin nyo. Pusong biyuin nyo. Pusong biyuin nyo.
Katanduan. So, for my day job po, I work in Propeller. It's a software company using photography, LiDAR, GPS, and WebGIS for managing sites. So that's a very long way. Ginagawa, just make maps. So, sir, can we play that one map dun sa taas? This one? Can you do that one? This one. Ayaw. We can go dun, sir, dun sa folder na lang po na that I shared kanina. Genetic engineer din po. Ako. So, it's really good. It's really nice to see the genetic engineering community here in BU is alive and kicking. And I wanted to share some of these maps. And basically, I know yung title is using QGIS temporal controller for communicating hazard data, but it's just an excuse for me to advocate the use of QGIS, this great mapping software, this open and free mapping software. I I can help, sir.
Yung meron
Okay, sorry for the technical difficulty po, no? So yeah, if you look, dito na lang ako. So, kung makikita po natin, I'm an engineer, so I also make maps, hopefully using QGIS or Python. And since we're here in Bicol, I wanted to share with you this map po, the map of Mayon, the three princesses of Albay. Mayon, Masarada, and Malinaw. We always say that Mayon is a perfect pool, right? That's what we say. But when I look at it from the top, it doesn't really look like a pool. You're looking at the left image po. It doesn't really look like a pool. It looks more like a pimple. When you look at its contour lines, it's just concentric circles. It's hard to say that, to communicate that Mayon is a perfect pool that way. So what I did is I took those contour lines, I visualized them in 3D, and then I made them spin. Why do I do that? Kasi nga, the dance of the three mountains, the Painekon to Nungulod. So I made them spin and made them dance, and in that way, I see Mayon from the different points of view, thereby I'm communicating it well that it is actually a pool. I exaggerated the vertical a little bit, so mukha na siyang survey pool. So that's what I did there. Right? So the animation, it makes you, it draws you in. And it's helping me in communicating that story. The other one, can you play the next GIF po, yung 02? Sir? Pasensya na po, puro kasi animated yung ginawa. The things that I did was animated stuff.
po, yan. So, not only do I visualize yung volcanoes of Bicol, I'm also visualizing here, during my UP Diliman researcher days, I was also intimate with a lot of rivers. So, the three of which, the ones that I always visited was Marikina River, Cagayan de Oro River, and Cagayan River in the north. Right? So I want to make a map that would tell the story of the scale of those rivers. And it's hard, kind of hard, and sometimes it's kind of boring to put it in 2D. So that's why what I did here was to put it in 3D and animate it as well. So if we start here, that's Marikina River. Zoomed out, that's Cagayan de Oro. And then zooming out just to accommodate the big Cagayan River there. And telling the story of the scale of the three rivers. Because sometimes when you're in Manila, all you know is Marikina River. And if you cannot see the Cagayan River, then it's always hard to visualize how big it is. That's why I wanted to make this map. And again, by animating it, by turning it around, I'm also saying or visualizing the elevation of the rivers. So if you can see here, that yellow, the Cagayan de Oro River, is elevating really fast, the river profile. Whereas yung Cagayan, most of it in the middle, it's really flat. It's like Bicol River. Some of it is really flat and then it goes up. But Cagayan de Oro goes really high. And that's what I wanted to show here. I wanted to tell you that animating these maps, animating pictures, sort of drives the story better, I think. Makes for better engagement. Let's go to the next slide, please. This is a map of the presence of our company internationally. So we were growing from 2015 up to 2020, a map where the sites are that we are producing internationally. And our CEO liked this map, posted it in LinkedIn, and this is his most engagement in LinkedIn for the year. Right? Most engagement. Just because I'm animating the map. Next slide, please. Can you go to sa PowerPoint? So, meron this site, we have a site that we took UAV camera orthophotos, and we also flew with LiDAR. So cameras, to get the orthophoto, and you can get the topography from the cameras, but it is heavily vegetated, right? So it's heavily vegetated, so we also flew with LiDAR, using lasers, literally hundreds of millions of points emanating from that UAV, and some of it is getting through the gaps in the trees. That's why if you're using LiDAR, you get really good representation of the topography under the canopy. And this is what happens. Okay? So what I want to say is that what would be the effect if flood hazard happened in the site? Okay? Using the same data set, but with different technology, for example, what would happen? How would the flood have an effect? What would be the difference in the flood height? What would be the difference in the flood extent? And I can show you the result here, right? Or can you show yung video mo? Can you do that? I can show you the result. Right? I can tell you the result, or I can get the map tell you what happened. So dahil niya, there's a misrepresentation of topography using yung ating photo EM here. Right? Supposedly, this is a low area. Right? But the DM from the photo cannot capture that. So when we simulated the flood, it's erroneously having this pocket of flooding there. But it's not supposed to be there. But as you can see, using the LiDAR, it's emanating from here, flowing to the center, and flowing to the left here. So from the east, it's flooding from the east to the west, and it's not capturing that well using that AEM. So I can say that in one image, or I can show you an animation to drive that story. And that's what I wanted to show you. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. That's one static map. Tapos ito yung kanyang video content. Next slide. Next slide. So what I wanted to say basically is the movement in visual review, it helps us, there's opportunities for more thorough messaging. And there's a potential for extended engagement. It draws you in. So after it draws you in, you wait for it to happen, and then when you communicate, I tell the story, and then we start talking. That's engagement. That's what I wanted to say. Na meron talagang opportunity for better engagement when you're using animation for images. And that's also true for maps. That's always true. Okay? Show of hands for the students. Show of hands. Sino po dito who watches and rewatches Naruto? Show of hands. Yan. Now, show of hands. Sino po dito who reads and rereads Naruto the manga? Wag plastic. Wag plastic. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The layman will always be more compelled to look at the video, the animation. That's true also for the visual review for maps. Just so happens that it's kind of hard. It's a bit harder to do with the video. Next slide po. Enter QGIS Temporal Controller. QGIS is a great software. You can make maps for that. But it's hard before to do animation using those maps. But now, it's easy. It's not, you don't actually have to install another plugin. When you download QGIS now, it's right there for you to use it. It makes animating spatial data sets with time attributes easy. Next one. So, this is, that's my friend from Propeller also. That's Sabina. So, ito yung kanyang track when she's a bike enthusiast. So she's biking in Melbourne. She's doing around the bay in Melbourne. So I can use a static map, right? The one on the left, right? But I can also show it using an animated map. Can you show her yung animated map? The next. That one, this one. Oh, yeah. So it gives you better. It gives a better story, right? So what I did was I colored it in orange. And then I made sure that I blended it. So much so that what happens is that kapag merong overlap between the points, it's going to become yellow. Kapag mas marami yung overlap, it will become white and so on and so forth. Why do I do that? So that I will know kung saan siya na-stop, saan siya na-backtrack, and so on and so forth. Right? So dito po, that's why it's colored white here, because that's the Westgate Bridge. That's where she took that picture. To me, she stopped there. And I can see that on the next video. This is also my friend from Propeller, si Abby. She's also a bike enthusiast. And I can show you yung track ng kanyang biking, right? But it would be better if I show you the progress of how she bikes. This is her biking from Marikina to Manila to Las Piñas up to Tagaytay, right? So, and then going back to Marikina, and then going to the Antipolo watershed, right? And since this is a map, I can size it, right? So, the color represents the elevation. So, when she was biking to Tagaytay, there was a gradual change in the elevation. But if you can see there in Marikina, there's a big upward again doing that. And I can say that story better with animation. Next slide. Next slide. So, can you explain a little bit? Thank you, sir. So, this is how easy it is to make that. It looks great. This is how easy it is. Right? I drag and drop yung data na yan. That's the old one. Meron date. It has a date attribute. Yung data niya, right? And that's what I'm going to use. So, gagawin ko lang, I just operate the QGIS Temporal Controller. That's it. I tell its properties, I tell them, please use the QGIS Temporal Controller here, and accumulate it over time, click OK. And then, so I just update the time. So I'm telling QGIS controller when to show the data and when to stop, right? And what's great about QGIS is that I can copy and paste lang just like you. Just copy and paste this time. So I'm doing that now. So when I progress here, I'm just sliding the temporal controller and it's going to show you the progress. That's it. That's all you did. And you're going to make animated maps using that. Right? So I slide it para lang mag-iba yung kanyang yung color niya depending on the elevation. And that's it. That's how easy it is to make that map. It makes you look great as a map. It makes you look intelligent. But all the heavy lifting is being done by QGIS temporal. So please use it. Please use it. Next slide. Now, natural hazards have a very strong spatiotemporal component. And you can download yung typhoon data natin. So you can Google tracks, for example. That's the track of the typhoons coming inside the Philippines. And normally, kapag may mapa, when there's a map showing typhoons or telling the story of typhoons in the Philippines, you always have some sort of map like this, right? It's a very good map for scaring people away from the Philippines. I don't like that map. Maybe you could just say it a little bit better. So for example, the 2020 typhoon season, right? Can you play this, sir? Can you go, sir, sa 2022 May 05? Sa 05 po, you can slide dito yung MP4. Sa 05, sa May 2022 05. Yan, can you slide a little better sa 05 po. Yung May pumasok na typhoon, si Bongkong. It was Ambo. It was so destructive that pag-asa retired that May. When a typhoon is so destructive pag-asa, the local agency retires that way. So in May 2020, it hit us. Okay? And then come October 2020, can you skip to October 2020? And, yeah, sige po sir. 2020, October. That one. Yan. Yung lahat yung nangyari na sorry, 2020. Sorry. 2020, 10. Baba. Yan po yung Bongkong. It hit us. So much damage. And then come October, sige pa po sir. Come October, may tatlo. Sige po. Isa pa po sir. Sige lang. Okay. That happened. Come October 2025, Kita hit us. Right? And then 1 week after that, Ronnie hit us. And then another week or 2 weeks after that, Ulysses hit us. In a span of 3 or 4 weeks, we were hit by strong typhoons. So strong that again, Pag-asa retired those names. 45 billion pesos of damage. 150 deaths. And it's better told when you have a better control of the map. That's what I'm saying. You can put it in one static map, or you can have a control of the narrative if you're using an animated map. Next slide. That's the example for the national hazard. Can you go to the slide, please? Dun sa yung isang slide. Sige pa. One more. Isa pa. One more. No. Ito po, yung Northwestern Luzon na magnitude 7 earthquake po. Okay? So what I'm using is PHOX data. And when you look at the PHOX data, there's a latitude, longitude, magnitude, depth, and there's a time when it happened, right? The shocks will happen. Next slide, please. And normally, this is how we represent that data, right? We map where all the shocks are. And this is good kasi we can show that it's clustering in space. Magkakatabi sila. But can we show na magkakasunod sila? And I think that's a better story. And this is how we did it. So ito po, Sir Ken, can you play ito pong last na video natin? So ito po yung 48 hours before that earthquake. 20 quakes in 48 hours. All quiet on the Western Front. Netflix reference. And then, July 27, boom. That happened. Right? So all quiet, calm before the storm, and then I'm going to tell the story because I am engaged in looking at the map because of the 200 aftershocks in 24 hours. And that's what I wanted to just share to the group. You can engage more people if you're using animated. Yun lang po. Can you go to the last slide po? So TLDR. Can you go last slide po? So madali lang po. Madali lang po yan. It's pretty much the same that what we did. So last slide. So some takeaways. Hazards always happen where, but it also happens. And it's important to map that out also. So the map animation can lead to more engagement and better control of your data story and storytelling, right? And QGIS makes it very easy to do that. And if there's something that you could take away from this, you could search YouTube for EL Bottom Line Handling Demo. That's the tutorial that you can use as a reference for making this map. It's very easy. Maraming salamat.
Alright, thank you so much, Sir Lee, for that wonderful presentation. Before we proceed to the next presentation, I'd like to ask the audience, what was your favorite part of that presentation? Is anyone willing to share something? Again, natutunan nila, what did you like about it? You can raise your hands and I'll go to you. Sige, Harry.
Sige. So, yeah, I think this presentation is really, inspiring because nowadays I think technology is, improving. So we need to see more about the spatial analysis. And aesthetic, it's really hard to understand. And with animation and visualization, it can really help people to more understand about what actually happened in the area, what phenomena is actually happening, and we can, advocate maybe later on using those kind of animation. So this is really a useful and inspiring talk for our speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harry. Yes, I agree. I think it's very nice seeing all of the colors and all of, I think part of it is actually understanding what it is that you want to tell before you're able to use QGIS properly. But the thing is, like when you have something that's that powerful and that useful, it actually motivates you to tell a story and start doing it. So anyway, that's it. By the way, I'd also like to encourage you all to open the questions document. Remember, we shared a QR right here, there. So you can scan the QR and you can type in your questions there if you feel shy. Asking your questions after each presentation. You may scan this QR, open the document and type it here. We'll read it out loud for you. So, there. Now, moving on to our next presentation, we have from Hot Philippines. We are going to talk about Hot Philippines Philaware in COVID-19 times. Please welcome Georgie Bonilla and Jaime Obuel.
It takes a while to get used to a crowd when we're used to a small screen. So bear with us as we present our experience. It's a story of ours. So with me is Honey, co-presenting. And also we would like to acknowledge 3 people that also completed this project. We have Faye over there. She was one of them. Avon over there. And of course, Gina is also part of the team. So all 3 together with the rest of the team contributed to the completion of the project. So let's start with the story. Okay. the Pacific Disaster Center from the University of Hawaii. So then PDC sub-branded humanitarian or SIGMA. At the time, this was Hot Philippines as a project before the Asian Pacific hub was formed. So those are our sponsors. So what we're going to do for the rest of the time is we divide it into 4 parts. I'll tell my story and then Honey will tell her story on how the training and how the field work was conducted. Who can remember when was the time, what month was the Philippines lockdown? March of 2020, right? Okay, so February of 2020 was the first mapathon of Hot Philippines. And we were so excited. We were getting there. We're going to start the project. And all of a sudden, the lockdown happened. Okay, so next slide, please. So the Philowork project, as mentioned, was launched in 2019. This is together with the National Disaster Preparedness Baseline Assessment. It's a two-pronged objective of encompassing disaster risk reduction initiative. I forgot to mention, we're also working with the support of the Office of Civil Defense. They were the one that provided supporting letters for all the work that we were doing at the field level. So it's a custom hazard monitoring and early warning system, hopefully to reduce the reduction and mitigation of hazards that was happening, especially in the Philippines. And this was used for decision making. At the same time, promotes availability of data, open source data. You may want to ask, the project site that was identified was Pampanga. Pampanga being prioritized and recommended by the Office of Civil Defense. Okay, next slide. So again, this is a joint venture with the Pacific Disaster Center. Of the Philippines when it comes to disaster. As you saw in the earlier presentation, we averaged 20 to 22 typhoons, and it's not just typhoons, we also have earthquakes. So this was quite needed by the Philippine government. As you can see, Philaware is an offshoot of Disaster Aware and InAware. For InAware, that's Indonesia Aware, and that was a 3-year project for InAware. For Philaware, it only happened less than 2 years to complete the project for us. So this is how it looks when we were doing our field work. And as you can see, everybody was at the height of the pandemic. We were able to still do it even though at the height of that typhoon, I think that was mentioned earlier, that name of the typhoon. And these are local government unit volunteers that were trained to conduct the field work. So the main task that was asked of Hot Philippines was to be able to fill in the gaps of the critical geospatial data that was needed by DRRM. So we were supposed to, and we had to collect data, curate those geospatial information, including neighborhood boundaries, transportation, and critical lifeline assets. Shout out to Faye, she was the major contributor in the formation of that critical infrastructure data that was done. Next. Here are the logos of the municipalities that were covered by the project in Pampanga. And they're representing Of the 22 municipalities in Pampanga, these are municipalities and cities, we were able to train only 18, okay? And then of the 18 that was trained, and Hani will further discuss this, only 13 was available for us to do field work for reasons of the LGUs will not allow us to come in. In fact, when we were doing our field work, a lot of our field work staff are from Metro Manila, and Metro Manila was a no-no to the province. So, we had to agree with the local government, and that's the province of Pampanga, to set up a staff house in Pampanga so that our staff doesn't go from Metro Manila and then go to the LGU back to Metro Manila. So can you just imagine, if they know you were from Metro Manila, you really will see the difference in the reaction when they hear that, oh, you're from Metro Manila. So it was decided, okay, we'll set up a staff house, and then the staff can stay there, and then every month, once a month, they were able to go back to Manila. And then at the same time, testings were regularly done with them, and we also had set up a health protocol when it comes to field work. Okay, next. I think this is Hani's part.
Okay, so for the field mapping, we did it in 4 parts. First, we finished mapping the building footprints and road networks in OSM via remote mapping. So it was done by the HUT staff, volunteers from OSM, and also from the local government units. And we did the OSM training for our local government unit volunteers. So later I will show you the mobile applications that we use to collect these critical lifeline asset information. And then we did the field mapping on ground, so using our mobile phones. And lastly, we released the generated maps to the barangays. Next slide, please. So, alongside collecting this critical lifeline points of interest in OSM by HUT, another organization is also doing their work by having a crowdsourced hazard report. It is made by mapakalamidad.ph. So, majorly, they have reported sightings of flood incidents. And it was very helpful to generate and plan out how to do the rescue and evacuation plans of these places. So this is the data model. So again, shout out to Ms. Faye for giving out her best to generate this data model, and you can see the different features added that we have collected on field. So to see the complete documentation in OSM Wiki, you can scan the QR code, take a picture of it, and later check out it in OSM Wiki. So you can see the different key and value combinations in OSM that we have added in our field collection. So majorly, you can see evacuation centers, the health facilities like clinics, hospitals. We also included educational institutions, because here in the Philippines, usually the basketball courts and the elementary school facilities are also being used as evacuation center. So it's important to have these mapped in a free and open source map like OSM. So next slide. So for the field operations, again, we did the pre-field planning. So with our data validation lead here, Amon, we did planning of different barangays for the whole week, how to manage our time, our resources, and we also have coordinated with our vehicles. So we use jeepneys to go to these barangays, and we also coordinated with the LGU if they can provide us with the service. And then we did the field mapping using the mobile applications and provided the data quality assurance together with our partner, the POI. So it's an OSM community in Indonesia, and we provided the final output to the barangays. So these are the mobile applications that we use. So this is very important because maybe you can use these for your projects or for your school work, since most of us here is in genetic engineering, I think. So this is perfect if you want to collect geospatial data on ground. So on the rightmost side, this is OpenMapKit. So actually, we are not using this anymore. So I will suggest to change it to Kobo Toolbox. And for today, we have a workshop for it, led by Mr. Amon Panan. So later on, please attend that session. So before, the OpenMapKit is seamlessly connected with our Open Data Kit. So Open Data Kit is like a digital survey form where there are questions that you need to answer, and it will give you the digital information that you can upload to OSM. And it was connected to OpenMapKit, giving us the satellite imagery so that we can pin directly that information is pertaining to. So now I suggest use Kobo Toolbox. And on the leftmost side is the OSM tracker for Android. So for this one, we used it to gather geotag photos and for tracking our path, and for the second layer of validation. Okay. So this is the progress that we had for Pampanga. So this is the different municipalities in Pampanga, and we have mapped almost all of the buildings during that time, since maybe this year there are more buildings to map. So this is the progress, and we have completed it for 1 year. So aside from Pampanga, we have also mapped remotely different cities from from Metro Manila, in the guidance of PDC. We have mapped several buildings from Quezon City, from Marikina City, from Rizal, and from Pasig.
Just to add, Quezon City was where most of the number of cases at the time. So we were not allowed by the local government unit to enter and do field work. So it was a no-no. So OCD decided, okay, let's get some help from HOT and do the other areas that we still need, and there are gaps to be identified. All done remotely.
Okay, so for this slide, you can see the dark spots. So these are the points of interest that we have collected throughout 1 year of data collection in Pampanga. And this is a sample of our map output. You can see the different critical lifeline assets that we have mapped. together with the LGU volunteers. So we have schools, clinics, evacuation centers, and this has been very useful, especially later on Ms. Georgie will show the testaments from the local government units how these maps were used. So those maps that was made and developed by HOT Philippines was then contributed and submitted to PhilAware, the platform that is managed by OCT. And this platform is contribution of the different agencies that works in our government. So from DSWD, DSW Social Welfare, DNR. So the PhilAware platform has all this data and had contributed to some of those data. As you can see, that PhilAware the platform was used for Odette. That was phase 1 of PhilAware, and just lately, October, phase 2 of PhilAware started, and this time, they are bringing it down to the province. Access will be provided to the province of DRM, access to the municipality, and hopefully to the barangays. But that is what's happening with PhilAware Phase 2. It's the operationalization and use of PhilAware. So this is one of our visits, the Ingaga, that's the mayor in white, was very interested to see where his house is. But basically, he's looking at the municipal map. We were able to print around 320 maps, including villages, so municipal maps and villages, barangay. Okay? Next slide, please. So this is another one in Bacolor, the map of the municipality of Bacolor. So in any project, there are always challenges, and we had a lot, given the fact that it was during the pandemic, and cases were going up and down. So for every visit that we conduct with the local government unit, we had to check what's the number, can we go in, or are we allowed to go in? And so that was the primary reason for some of the municipalities not to be visited. Of course, because we started late, there was a lack of consultation with a lot of the stakeholders that would have made our lives easier if that was done. Mentioned was the scheduling of the LGU staff. As you know, not 100% of the staff were present to serve the local government unit. So only 50% would show up or 25% would show up, so they had that. So we were not able to access all the staff that we wanted to work with. Of course, typhoon was happening. Honey and a team of Honey, they have one visit they had to do where they had to take the bangka because it was flooded. So that's part of fieldwork. And of course, HOT Philippines or HOT Global was very strict about health protocols. And we are very, very thankful that nobody got sick. Nobody got COVID from the staff. Even if they were doing fieldwork, nobody got sick. Right? Nobody got COVID at all. And then, of course, some of the LGUs were not willing to open up because for reasons they already have their own specialized manuals. So it's okay, we don't need OSM, so it's okay, we can survive. Okay, so those are some of our challenges. Some comments from after the project that was I think July to September, we did a data case study to get feedback from the field, and these are some of the comments. So it seems that they can really use it. And of course, more. This was identified again by the data use case study. It can be used for planning, for DRM, tax, for municipal assessors, social welfare and development, DNR. They
want to find out. And I think that more technical stuff can be explained later in some of the workshops. How to do that when you do layering for the OSM map. Next, please. Oh, you want to add? Hani ka na? Okay. So learnings, as much as possible, if time allows, and that's under planning, good planning, involve the participation of all the stakeholders in the project. And that's number one, of course. And then encourage the exchange of information. We all have something to share, and we need to do that so we can do a better job. Train the trainer opportunities. When we visited the LGUs, this is something that they wanted also. They have a few volunteers that were trained, but it would have been better if they had more trainers. And as always, to formalize things and to get things done, you need the commitment of the local government unit. As much as you need volunteers from the OSM communities. And I think it all encompasses when you say we need that partnership for the project. Yes. For more information, Philaware is mentioned in the webpage of HAT. At the same time, stories of it are also there. There's a Wikipedia that Faye developed on Philaware, so that is also accessible if you want to have more information. Hani, do you want to say something?
Just to close, even though the Philaware platform is not released to the public, so it's just a platform for the local government units, since the points of interest were mapped in OpenStreetMap, we can use all the collected information and even add more to make more informed decision making in terms of BRRM. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Now, my dear friends, before we proceed again to the next presentation, does anyone have any questions about what was just presented to you? Anyone? No questions at all. We're also checking, by the way, the link to the Google Docs that we shared earlier. Again, we encourage you that if you have any questions about the presentations that are shown here today, you may type in your questions here at the Google Docs. So again, it was the QR code that we showed earlier. Are there any other questions right now, or are you willing to proceed to the next presentation already? Not? You may raise your hands if you have any questions. Final call in 3, 2, 1. Okay, none. Alright, so I'm gonna assume none from now. Thank you so much to our presenters once again. Please give them a round of applause. And now we would like to call on our next presenter. Okay, so our next presenter is Nikki Cadiz. Nikki will be talking about the DOST ASTI Space Science and Technology for the RRM. So is Nikki here? Alright. Round of applause for our speaker, please. Thank you.
Hi, good morning everyone. As a small kid, I need to go up the stage. Yeah. You can call me Nikki, but I am Lizzie Roding Arcadis, and I'm one of the senior science research specialists of the Department of Science and Technology's Advanced Science and Technology Institute, so that's the DOST ASTI. So I'm going to talk about the space science and technology for the RRM of our agency. So, next slide please. For those who do not know the DOST ASTI, we are a research development institute of the DOST. So we are mandated to take research and development efforts in microelectronics, in ICT, and in 2016 we delved into the space technology innovation. So we have 3 flagship programs. We have the cloud computing, we have the wireless system systems, we have robotics, we have artificial intelligence, and many other cool things that we could offer to the general public. So next slide, please. Here are the space science and technology assets, or assets, SSTAs of the OST-AST. We have the Pedro Center, the Datos Project, the Sarwise Project, as well as the Stamina for Space. But these projects are contemplated to be transferred to the Philippine Space Agency next year. So next year, quote-unquote, PhilSA will own these SSTAs, but some of them will stay pa naman sa DOST-AST. So I will talk more about them later. So can we go to the next slide, please? So we will start with the Pedro Center. So the Pedro Center is the reason why the Department of Science and Technology delved into this space race in 2016. They have created the Pedro Center as our ground receiving station. So we have 3 ground receiving stations dito sa Pilipinas. We have one in our office in Quezon City. The other one is in Davao, near the airport, and the latest one is in Iloilo. So in essence, the Pedro Center, what the Pedro Center does is they upload commands to the satellites. So we have commercial satellites, we have our own Filipino-made satellites, and we have those open source satellites. So they upload commands to those satellites and essentially download those satellite images for us to process. So next, please. So when we have those satellite images, what we do is to process them. So we process them to make flood maps or flood impact maps. We use them to create other DRRM maps or other monitoring maps and show them to you later. So we have the Datos project. What we do is we use a combination of data generated from ASTI projects or ASTI efforts, and we use our SNGIS tools as well as data science to come up with those maps. So I'll tell more about them later. So the next one is the project where I belong, the Sarwise project. Next slide, please. The Sarwise project, or the long name, is a synthetic aperture radar and automatic identification system for the innovative terrestrial monitoring and maritime surveillance project, or the Sarwise project, is known as the NOVASAR project. So we are entitled, we have the NOVASAR satellite. The NOVASAR satellite is owned by the United Kingdom. So we know the SSTL and all. But we are entitled, or the Philippines is entitled to 10% imaging capacity of the NOVASAR 1 satellites. So it only translates to 3 minutes lang na imaging per day. But the NOVASAR 1 satellite passes through the Philippines 4 times a day. And the scope of the NOVASAR satellite is not only limited to the Philippines. So we can actually ask for images from other countries. But since we are only entitled to 10% of that imaging capacity, what we do is that we take images within the Philippine territory lang. Pero for the NOVASAR satellite, we take images more sa mga domain natin, sa mga waters natin. So yun yung tinitignan natin. So the Sarwise project, can I have the next slide please? The Sarwise project has these data applications. So we do aquaculture mapping in collaboration with the Philippine Statistics Authority. And we also do DRRM activities, flood mapping and other activities. But the number one reason why there is a Sarwise project is we do ship detection. So we detect the activities of ship in our domain using the NOVASAR 1 satellite. So we work closely with the NSC, National Security Commission, with the Philippine Coast Guard, with the National Coast Watch Center for us to be able to monitor the activities within the Philippine territory or sa waters natin sa Pilipinas. So next po. We also have the core facility. I don't know if any one of you guys has been using the core facility, but the core facility essentially is the high performance computing facility of the Philippines. So we can store large data sets like big data, like terabytes of data. We can archive terabytes of data in the core facility. We we can use their cloud computing to process data sets, large data sets, and we can do calculations at high level speed. So using the core facility, di ba, we have the satellite images from the Better Center. Then we process those satellite images to come up with maps. So dati kasi, before, the creation of maps actually takes a long time. But because of the core facility, we can actually produce maps in minutes or not in hours because we have the high level calculations or processing using the core facility. And next po. In the OST-ASTI, if you saw, or at least if you saw one na, we also have the MASID project. They are the ones responsible to maintain the maintenance of those water level sensors. Yung water level sensors natin, ang ginagawa nila ay monitor lang nila yung pagtaas o pagbaba ng mga tubig within the Philippines. Pero, I just want to tell you rin guys that those water level sensors were already turned over to Pag-asa. So if they are down, and most of the time they are down, you can course through the request to us. But we will also send the request to Pag-asa since they are the ones maintaining those water level sensors na. So next po. So what do we offer? What does the DOST-ASTI offer? We offer space technology in DRR. So aside from microelectronics, aside from ICT, we offer space technology in DRRN and other monitoring efforts. So next po. This one, I had a presentation at the National Science and Technology Week last week, and they wanted me to present this building detection for detecting damages, for them to be able, and for us to be able to help them in detecting damages when there's an extreme weather event. But let me tell you that this detecting damages is only a prototype. So we haven't actually partnered with any local government unit for us to push through this collaboration. So it is a prototype. This is only a technology demonstration. I'm here to tell you that we can do this using our artificial intelligence. But since there's no LGU yet, hindi pa to nagpo-push through. And if you can see all the maps that I'm going to show you now, ang base maps nila ay OpenStreetMaps. So thank you ASM for those base maps. And next, another one, effort that we did using artificial intelligence is the detecting of built-up area changes. So since we need to detect the built-up area changes, kasi di ba, in the rapid urbanization, with the rapid urbanization, it also comes with the rapid increase of risk in an organization or in a community. So we need to see or we need to check if yung mga urbanized areas ba, ano na nga yung mga risky places doon. So next, can you please show the next slide? So here, using deep learning technology or the AI, we are able to perform build-up and building detection, which can be potentially used to estimate the loss and/or damages in a particular area. So we have that technology too. Next slide, please. This is also a built-up area changes in Aparri, Cagayan. The one is in Baguio City, but I guess this one is GIF Rally. Can you see? Yan. GIF po siya. Pabalik na lang po para cool siyang tignan. So ayan, that's a GIF din naman. So next po. Yan. Next one. Next slide, please. We can also, using the same technology naman, we can also assess urban sprawl. So this one is in Davao City naman. So we can see the increase of settlements. But I have shown this noong 2019 sa pista ng mapa. Pero let's go over the other technologies na natin. So next po. So yeah, we can also detect road network changes. Next. And here, I saw people from Japan or participants from Japan. So they own the Himawari satellite. So the Himawari satellite is a geostationary satellite, if you know that we use to fall. Palagi nating sinasabi yun. So using the Himawari satellite, we can potentially see kung nasaan na yung bagyo or kung nasaan areas sa Pilipinas ngayon ang umuulan. But this one is a mirror satellite of the Himawari satellite. So the ASTI was actually entitled to have that mirror satellite. So this one is himawari.asti.usd.gov.ph compared to the himawari.jp.org or whatever the URL that the Japan government uses. So next po, this is actually the latest effort that we are doing. We saw kasi na every weather event, people are posting damages. People are sending sending social media or posting social media posts saying that their area is damaged or their area is flooded. And ginawa talaga namin na gusto namin kunin yung data na yun. So what we do is a participatory DRRM response. So what we do in the OST-ASTI in cooperation with the Philippine Space Agency, we came up with Google Forms, and we ask those online, or we ask people online that please fill out this Google form. Tell us kung saan yung location ninyo. Tell us what kind of event is that. Is it flooding? Is it landslide? Is it the overflow of a river? And show us photos or show us the links of those social media posts. So what we do when we have those social media links, we plot the geographical coordinates of those links. So kung titignan niyo po dito, mayroong longitude. So we use those longlat for satellite tasking. So next po, using those geographical coordinates, we can actually plot areas of interest. So when we have areas of interest from that document filled out by netizens, or at least filled out by the DOST-ASTI and the PhilSA people, we have areas of interest. And when we have areas of interest, we task our satellites, kung ano man yung mga available na satellite assets natin, to take photos or capture photos within those areas. So when we have the areas of interest, next po, and we have downloaded those images from those AOIs, areas of interest, that's the time when we can come up with flood impact maps. So we can generate flood impact maps. And these flood impact maps are always distributed to the NDRRMC, the National DRRM Council, to the OCD, to the affected LGUs, to the regional offices of the OST, and other stakeholders. So if you want to be a part of our distribution list, so ang laman ng distribution list po namin, we send out these maps as well as those shape files. So if we send out those shape files, you can actually use them. You can actually use those shape files to process those maps pa rin in different manner. So here, next po, yun nga yung sabi ko, they are sent to all the necessary and relevant, data sets to mandated agencies. FIVOLS, if earthquake, PAG-ASA, if weather events. So next po. Here, I also need to show you the issues and concerns because number one, the number one limitation or the perennial dilemma of the DOST-ASTI as well as the Philippine Space Agency is there is a limited to no subscription to very high resolution satellite images. So due to limited subscription kasi natin, we can only task those available images or satellites in that event. And the number two, sometimes kasi there is no scheduled pass for open source satellites. But we compensate them by asking or requesting data sets from the UN Disaster Charter or from the open source satellites like the Sentinel-1, the ComSat-1, or any other satellites. So available data sets are pre-event images. So what we do are we give archive images to LGUs as well as to other companies or agencies that ask them. So next. Ayan, dito na po tayo sa maraming maps na ginagawa na We also provide, next na po natin. Patapos na rin naman po to. We can also assess flood damages using those maps or using the AI technology. Next po, we can provide you post-typhoon disaster assessment. If you want to request satellite images from the OST-AST, we can provide pre-typhoon and post-typhoon images for your monitoring efforts. So next po, we can also assess earthquake damages and forest fire damages. Ang susunod dyan sa slide na yan, I guess. Pan-next po. Ayan. So those were our DRRM efforts. But to also give you a view of what we do in the OST-AST, we have efforts in agriculture, fisheries, and resource management. Next na lang po natin, we can map seasonal crops like sugarcane. Sugarcane, we work closely with the Sugar Regulatory Administration. We can also map rice and corn. We work closely naman with the Department of Agriculture on this one. So next po, we can also map land cover classes using satellite images and our AI. We work with NAMRIA naman po on this one. So next, we also map fish ponds and fish pens as I've shown you later. We work with the Philippine Statistics Authority for their 2022 census on agriculture and fisheries. So next, we can also detect trees using our AI. Next na lang po yan. This one is coconut trees. The other one is, next na lang po. Next pa rin po. The other one is mango trees. We work with the Bataan Peninsula State Universities on this one. So, next po. Ayan, ito yung mga AI model prototypes namin. So, we can detect pili trees, clouds, shadows, vegetation, fish ponds, built-up areas, to name a few. So, next, we have QGIS AI plugin then. This is like a one-stop shop for those people na ang meron lang ay satellite images. So if you have satellite images, you can actually input those satellite images or those digitized satellite images here. And this plugin will come up with the maps that you want, with the process maps. So may mga GE students dito, di ba? Like geodetic engineering students. Can I see hands? Do you know that the person or the people that made these QGIS plugins are GE students or GE graduates? Yeah, sila yung nagpo-promote dito sa amin. So yeah, next po natin. And I'm down to my last 2 slides for my 2 minutes na lang then. We do a lot of information, education, and communication campaign for us to proliferate our technology. So last week lang, actually kahapon lang, we were in Cagayan de Oro or in Iligan. We partnered with MSU-IIT, that's Mindanao State University's Iligan Institute of Technology. And meron kaming 5-day training sa kanila on how to use the plugin. So when they use their plugin, they came up with maps like flood maps, road detection, and cloud maps, land cover maps, and for that. So we are partnering with other universities naman all over the Philippines for this IEC activity. So we're done with Luzon, with the Mariano Marcos State University. We're done with Mindanao, MSU-IIT, and we are looking for partner agency or partner institution in Visayas as well as the National Capital Region. So if you know agencies or institutions that want to partner with us during our REC, please hit us up na lang. So aside from SUCs and HEIs, we also train government agencies. So we train the Philippine Statistics Authority, the Department of Agriculture, and among other agencies. Next po. Ayan, yung mga data distribution platform naman namin, we have one on the Hazard Hunter page. Next, we also have the Siyasat portal. So the Siyasat portal naman, dito namin nilalagay yung mga data sets from the Novasar 1 satellite. So if you request images from the Novasar 1 satellite, you can use the Siyasat portal. So you can input your area of interest, tas magda-download na lang siya. That's Siyasat portal. Ayan, so yan yung mga features niya. pwede kayong magkaroon ng alerts and notifications if there's an activity sa Philippine territory, or at least sa SIS natin. So next po, ayan, we also have the Space Data Dashboard. If your research interest is within air quality, water quality, night lights, land cover, traffic monitoring, among others, you can use the Space Data Dashboard to download those satellite images. So next, and this one is for the Diwata satellites lang, statistics lang for the Diwata satellites, but you can also request for images from the Diwata satellites. So next, ayan, these are our efforts. We started this effort in 2019, the artificial intelligence for Earth observation, but we are now coining it as artificial intelligence for mapping. So we do mapping for infrastructure, for DRR, for security and defense, for food security, as well as resource monitoring. So next, ayan, tapos na po pala. So if you have questions, violent reactions, if you have comments, concerns, or anything, you can contact me through this email address, info@ast.usd.gov.ph. But we are also active on our social media pages, lalong-lalo na yung Datos Project. So yun lang po, and last line is a thank you page lang. But thank you so much, and I hope na you learn something from me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again, Miss Nikki, for that very lovely presentation. We really enjoyed looking at all of the data that you presented to us. We love how you organized it, and most importantly, we love how you included practical applications of data. So we hope to see more of those presentations in the coming presentations for today. But for now, do you have any questions? Anyone here in the room who has questions about Miss Nikki's presentation? None? I can just see people clapping. Clapping at Nikki. Anyone who has questions? You may raise your hand. None? Okay. So I believe that for now, we are done with morning sessions, my dear friends. So you can see that some of our friends and sponsors and partners are now setting up some of the food at the site. Some of you might be hungry as well, so we would like to announce that for now, we are going to take a lunch break. And we will be back in an hour. So if you have any friends, people you want to network with, now is the time. Again, we will be giving you an hour to join and mingle with the rest of your friends here at the gymnasium. Thank you so much for attending Pista ng Bata, and we will see you again in an hour. Thank you. Feel free to call and share your experience with us on social media with the hashtags #PNM2022 and #SOTMA2022. You may also use other hashtags such as Pista ng Mapa 2022, State of the Map Asia 2022, #Pista ng Mapa, #State of the Map Asia, #PNM-SOTMA, #PNM22, #SOTMA22, #Phosphor-G, and #OpenStreetMap. We would also like to thank our sponsors and co-presenters for today. This event is brought to you by Open Mapping Hub, Asia Pacific. We also have Meta, and our major sponsors, Magnet, GeoLadies Page, Mental Health Awareness, BNHR, OpenStreetMap Philippines. Some of our other sponsors, we have Mapbox, SOAR, Thinking Machines, and our internet sponsor, Converge. We would like to thank as well our local organizing team from Bicol University, Bicol University College of Engineering, and the Geodetic Engineers of the Philippines. for today include the Geographic Society of UP, Junior Philippine Geographic Society of the Philippines, Academic Consortium of Computer Science Students, Countermapping PH Network, PUP College of Computer and Information Sciences Student Council, Rotaract Club of Metro Zamboanga, Youth Advocates for the Philippines, Olirat Collective, UP Department of Geography, and Youth Mappers. We would also like to thank our local offices partners. First, Department of Tourism Region 5, Mayor Carmen Geraldine Rosal from City of Legazpi, Governor Noel E. Rosal from the Provincial Government of Albay, Provincial Tourism, Culture, and the Arts Office of Albay, Starbucks Events and Exhibits, and Rishana's Food Hub. Thank you very much and enjoy your lunch.